few updates. We got about 20 fire crews out here currently working. I just seen videos of their progress. They're doing a great job. As y'all can see from over there, the smoke plume is down. We have Set Trek on location, SEMA on location, and DPS will just talk with y'all in just a minute. We also have air monitoring on the Livingston side and our side, monitoring the airs, and they have found no chemicals in the air at this point. As of right now, y'all gonna hear from Sheriff Capers.
Yes, once again, I don't have any new information to update you as far as the sheriff's office. DPS has been a valuable asset to us. They came in and they started redirecting traffic off of 59, I believe at 190, and then down at Loop 424 there in Shepherd. But I will let their PIO talk to y'all about what it is that DPS is doing and how they're helping us with this explosion fire. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff. Good afternoon. So we know that we've got US 59 shut down from Livingston to Shepherd. So we're going to go with the northbound traffic first. Everybody going northbound on US 59 is going to exit State Loop 494. And you can take the direction from that point. If you're traveling southbound, you're going to exit US 190. Right? I wish I could tell you how long we're going to have this roadway closed, but like I said, like the sheriff said, they're working on getting this situation under control. So we'll make sure we're going to do it right. We're going to do it as best we can. And as soon as we get the roadway opened up, or as soon as they let us know we can do more, we'll open up one roadway at a time and go from there. Once we find that out, I'll be sure to get with you guys so you can push it out to the community and we can let them know that we're going to get back to track. All right? Thank you very much. Any questions? 424?
494.
494? It's going to be 424, or excuse me, I need to be corrected. It's going to be State Loop 424. Thank you.
Sheriff or emergency management, clearly, you know, this is an improved situation over here. Can you talk about what's been done to diminish that plume of smoke?
Oh, so like I said, fire crews are working. They got 2 ladder trucks right now. They're putting foam chemicals on the fire in order to dissipate the fire. Yes. Well, we're going to have Jeff speak again.
Hey, Jeff Harfield with Sound Resource Solutions again. Harfield. I said most of what I wanted to say this morning. I do have an update on our employee who was sent to Memorial. He's with the right people, and they're taking care of him, and he's doing good. He was worried about us, so he's doing good. He's going to be home with his family this evening, so that's good news. So everyone's accounted for. Everyone's going to be okay. Everyone that's working on this is the right people. You guys have amazing people up here. The first responders, everybody's been careful. Everybody's been prudent. Everyone's been smart. No one's taken any chances. And as you can see, it looked a lot different this morning, right? So we think the worst of this is gone. We'll now work with people like the TCEQ and the EPA, and we'll make sure that any remediation work that needs to be done is going to be done in the right way so that there's no effect on the community that we've loved for 14 years.
For those of us that are arriving at this press conference, you know, this is the first one we've received from our standpoint, just due to logistics. Can you kind of touch over briefly what happened, what ignited, what was burning, and how it was done?
Our basic business is industrial chemical manufacturing. We deal with a lot of flammable materials. We're not going to release a whole lot of stuff because everything's in the middle of an investigation. It's not prudent to speculate. What we want to do is get good information, and then we're going to give it to everyone. We're not going to hold back from everyone. You're going to know. Everyone's going to get the information that they need to know that we're the right people to do this type of work.
Any idea whatsoever on what may have triggered it?
It's a forklift incident. We've spoken to the person that was involved, and he's healing, but we just want him to heal. We're going to do all the investigation. We've been in contact with every agency you can imagine, and we're going to tell them the exact same thing. We're just going to say yes to everything. Whatever people need, whatever people want, whatever people want to know, they're going to find out.
Hey, one resident told us that they smelled chemicals in the area earlier this week. Do we know if that has any connection with this incident?
I can't really comment on them. I'd like to talk to them about it myself and find out more information.
So I'll touch on that. So that report came out yesterday. That was a multi-jurisdiction area report that chemicals were being smelled from San Jack all the way down to Polk. We believe at that time it was more than likely a truck that's driving through the area. We had fire crews looking in Polk County, Liberty County, and San Jac County yesterday, and nothing was found.
So is the fire contained now?
Correct. The fire is contained. Yes.
And for the people who are in Shepherd, they live on the opposite side because we're coming out of the south and we're moving north in Livingston and Woodbridge. Are those communities, some of our viewers were saying they wanted to start to leave that area. I know the roads are so shut down there, but are they able to meet their families or do they have to stay there even if they need to get out? Or
So-
feel like they need to get out?
So, answer that question. I can't speak on what Polk County is doing, but on the San Jac side, like I said, a lot of our hold-up area is for the safety of our personnel that's on location.
And currently, what is being done to mitigate the fire, you know, to get the thing totally knocked down? And about how long, you know, is that expected to take? How the procedures you all are going through?
So, on the answer to your question on that, I can't give you a definite answer. We will be back in about 3 hours, and if anything changes, we'll call y'all back up close. You know, if the 3 hour time frame is shortened, then we'll call y'all back up and give y'all more answers then.
At what time did the explosion or the fire start this morning?
It's about 8:17 a.m. this morning.
17?
Yes.
Is the shelter in place still effective for the mile radius?
Just currently, yes. We'll be looking to review that in just shortly. Yes.
And the name of this facility, that, what is the name of this, what, you know, this facility? Company.
The company name is Sound Resource Solutions.
Can you spell that? Can't hear you.
Oh, you can't hear. I'm sorry. It's Sound Resource Solutions,
And they're just a chemical manufacturing plant?
industrial blending facility. Yes,
So
sir.
at this time, we're going to take 2 more questions, and then after that, we'll be back in 3 hours.
Right now, we have seen a lull in that thickest of smoke, but we keep seeing these random plumes of black smoke coming back up. What does that suggest about how they're maintaining the fire? Is that the retardant? Is that the water? Could you speak to that?
So a lot of times what that is that just when they focus on one area, then another area may reignite. So that's where you'll see the plume come from. Yes. One more question.
Is this private school the only evacuation that's been so far?
I'll let you.
Yes, sir. That Wildwood Academy, that is the only evacuation that's taken place.
So to follow up, why would there be shelter in place remaining if, you know, we're monitoring the air and there's nothing in the air?
If the people need to get out, they're more than free to do that. They just can't traverse that section of 1127. We actually have 2 other routes for them to go out in people's pastures to get out. So it's like if somebody had a medical emergency or something, we escort them through the guy's pasture, and then they're able to go to wherever they need to go. Thank you.
All right, thank y'all. Once again, we'll be back in 3 hours. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Well, we are hearing now from some of the officials involved in all of this, but if there is a headline, Maida, it is, they said the fire is now contained.
Exactly.
And as we look at some of those pictures of firefighters putting foam on those hot spots, we've seen a few flames go up and obviously still some smoke, but it appears as though they really have gotten a handle on this. And while they wouldn't talk a whole lot, we did hear from the president of the company, once again, Sound Resources Solution. And what we're hearing from Mr. Harfield there is that they are an independent or chemical manufacturing company, and he says they will pass on all of the information they're able to get in their investigation. He even told us, which I thought was really important, the forklift driver is going to be able to be released from the hospital today.
Yes, that is good news. So right before we went to this news conference, Melanie, we had Dr. Farah Karatnan, pardon me if I mispronounced it again, the pulmonologist that we were talking to. So we have a few more minutes with her. We wanted to go back to you. Thank you so much for patiently waiting for us as we get these details. And we did want to ask you, there's folks out there with asthma. What should they look out for, or what do they need to do if they're in that immediate area?
Well, what I'd suggest is that not only people with asthma or other chronic respiratory ailments should avoid getting outside, getting outdoors. They should stay within their enclosed environment, within the house, possibly because most people have housing that are would be they would not get extensive exposure because of the air conditioning and other ventilatory systems. So, but I want to also emphasize that it's not just for people with asthma or chronic obstructive lung disease, that anyone even healthy individuals should not be exposed to this type of environment.
Really good information there, and we've been hearing from them, asking people within a mile of this company, doctor, to shelter in place and to turn off their HVACs. Is that pretty much the best advice you can give to people?
That's unfortunately for now, because most of the non-OSHA type of a masks are not capable, are not actually geared towards eliminating particulate matter of less than 2.5 micron, which is most likely what's being dispersed in the air. And so while masking for large particulate matter may be helpful, for the small ones, no, it would not be very helpful. And I would just suggest that for them to just start sheltering in place and not opening windows.
Now, what we're hearing from these folks is a little bit about what's inside there, including xylene, which is some kind of paint chemical. But is there something you would tell people in particular? Because as I understand it, that can really have an effect on your lungs.
Yes. So again, extensive exposure. So one would hope that with the fires contained and that the remaining smoldering type of exposure will subside. And with the good thing in the forecast is that there's going to be rain and more wind coming from the north, which unfortunately means most of this will be pushed downstream. But nonetheless, it will help them with clearing the air.
Well, Doctor, our Chief Meteorologist, Travis Herzog, is very grateful to you for listening carefully to him and to talk a little bit about the weather changes as well. Doctor, we appreciate your time so much, and especially kind of warning some of the people in that area what they need to do. We really appreciate it.
Yes, thank you so much, Doctor. We appreciate your time. So just to quickly recap, Melanie, what we heard from law enforcement officials out there, they don't have an immediate timeline as to when this is all going to be said and done. We are waiting for the update, but they said they would come back at 4 p.m. Sooner if they could, to let us know this is what we're dealing with and it's finally out. But again, we did mention the fire is contained, so that is good news. And as we see from this image, it looks like that.
Yeah, really the first time we've had this kind of an up-close view of what's happening, and you can see, thanks to all that foam, that the fire is pretty much extinguished at this point. I want to go back out to Chaz at this point, because Chaz, you've been talking to a lot of people who live in that area, and they must be intensely relieved to see that huge plume of smoke and fire behind you, pretty much out.
Yeah, Mel, you've seen the pictures all day. We've been talking about it all day. Obviously, this is a drastic difference from what we've been seeing for most of the morning and now into the afternoon. We've been here for a little bit at where this press conference is being staged, and there's not a whole lot of people living in this direct area. We had talked to a lady a little bit ago who was obviously concerned, as we've been reporting today. She said that she thought somebody was picking up her garbage cans outside and putting them back down hard on the concrete. It turned out to be the explosion from that plant. And then we talked to people a little closer into town in Shepherd. One girl was in high school. She left because of the fire. She said that her classmates were obviously scared. A lot of them left. Some of them stayed in there. So yes, once we are able to, and I know we have crews all over the ground, get in and talk to some of these communities, you'd have to imagine that just the fact that that big, huge plume of smoke is gone, that's got to be a relief. Now, we showed you that press conference just a little bit ago. And the thing we're learning about this is just how many different things are impacted by that fire that broke out just after 8 o'clock this morning. We've talked about the schools. We've told you several times this morning and now this afternoon that there was a private school that was evacuated near the site of that blast. We've told you about Shepherd ISD. I told you a lot of kids have left for the day, even though the district is saying things are safe and that those kids are able to go to class. If you went to a Shepherd ISD classroom, based on everything we've heard right now, there might not be as many people in there, but school is going on as scheduled. The other thing that's brought up is the road. So when we first heard about this around 8:45 this morning in the ABC 13 newsroom, 59 was still open. We didn't realize until we really got pretty close, and as we got closer, we got the messages from the newsroom. We're able to check Facebook, able to check all the social media channels to see just how big this fire was. That's when we realized just the who was the first reporter out here, that they were shutting down 59. And so if you saw that press conference with DPS, that was Trooper Burris, he gave an update on what's closed. The deal is, though, he doesn't know when it's going to be open. If you haven't heard that information, right now 59 is shut down. Basically Livingston to Shepherd, he's saying. So if you're going northbound, you would hit Shepherd first. He's asking people to exit Loop 424 there, and then southbound, he's asking people to exit 190. And at this point, he says he doesn't know how long that's going to be closed. Like everybody we've heard from today, the person who runs the plant that caught fire, from the Office of Emergency Management, from the San Jacinto County Sheriff's Department, and from the trooper from DPS, they're really just waiting at this point to get all the information in, see what's going on, and then make the best decision they can make based on that. At this point, the shelter in place is still in effect. It's a mile around that area, which is over my left shoulder right now. We talked to a lady who lives past that a little bit ago. She hasn't been able to get back home today. She was just outside trying to run some errands, do her thing closer into town, and she's been waiting ever since the last time we talked to her. So at this point, we're all just kind of waiting around for that next press conference, which they said is at 4 o'clock, to find out where things are at. Have they lifted the shelter in place? Are there any issues with air quality? Now, I will say this. They have said that air quality is being monitored, and they said on both sides, both our side and the Livingston side, they said at this point things are safe. We've been told that things burning in that fire are things like turpentine, diesel. The person representing that company said it's a lot of chemicals that you would find under your sink that are burning into the air. So at this point, air quality is being monitored, as it should be, and they said at this time they are not seeing anything that should alarm anybody, but obviously they're going to keep that shelter in place in effect for as long as they feel they need to, and they're going to continue to monitor that air. So at this point, there's some information slowly starting to trickle in. We're getting some more details. The man from the company said that yes, it was a forklift incident that caused all of this. That individual is doing better, that he's at the right place he needs to be. We've told you that there were 19 employees working in there. He said it's usually 40 strong. That's how many people work there. That when this happened at 8:15 this morning, there were about 19 people inside. He said they're all going to be okay and that they're going to be able to eat dinner with their family tonight. So there are these little slivers of good news as we wait for more information. But honestly,